Today's episode is brought to you by Sincerely Shalia, my very own greeting card line, written and designed by me for real love and real life. Whether you need the perfect card to celebrate love, apologize, or say what's on your heart, Sincerely Shalia has you covered. So skip the generic and say it your way. Check out my full collection at shaliavinny.com/greeting cards and find the card that speaks for you. I can't wait till you guys check them out. And don't forget to let me know what you think. I love you guys. Hello and welcome to the Love This Way podcast, the show that exists to help men and women everywhere to be better at love. Never any gender wars or back and forth, just great tips to help you find and sustain the love of your dreams. Because love is a journey, but you still need direction. I want you to grab your tribe and get ready because each episode we're going to be talking about our real life issues, answering tough questions, and building solid relationships with one another as we heal, learn, and grow. I'm your host, your girl, Dr. Shalia Vinny, and on today's show, we're talking about something that so many of you are dealing with: post-traumatic sex disorder. Get into this. Hey, my babies. Welcome back to another episode of Love This Way. Let's talk about sex, baby. No, I'm just playing. No, but for real, let's talk about sex because we need to talk about sex because sex is supposed to be intimate and it's supposed to be safe and beautiful. But for so many people, it's not. It's complicated, it's layered, sometimes it's confusing, it might even be painful, even when it's consensual. Because what happens when your body remembers things that you would rather forget? What happens when you survive something silently, but now that silence shows up between the sheets? Today, we're going to be naming something that almost no one talks about: post-traumatic sex disorder. When sex becomes a trigger instead of a connection, when pleasure feels like pressure, when intimacy feels like exposure, when your coping mechanisms get confused for confidence, but really they're just protection. We're going to be exploring how sexual trauma can shape the way you view your body and the way you experience intimacy, the signs that your body is still carrying what your heart hasn't healed, and most importantly, how to begin reclaiming safety, sovereignty, and softness within your body again. Because this conversation is not about shame, it's about truth. And the truth is, your body deserves more than survival. It deserves peace and presence and real rooted love. Most people associate PTSD with veterans or violence or life-threatening events, but sexual experiences can create trauma too, even if they weren't technically abusive. You may not have been assaulted, but maybe you were coerced into saying yes when your body said no. Maybe you used sex to avoid abandonment. Maybe you were pressured to perform instead of connecting. Maybe you've given your body in hopes it would make someone stay. And over time, that repeated disconnection between your heart, your mind, and your body will build trauma, because trauma isn't about what happened, it's about how your body responded to survive it. And when it comes to sex, your body remembers, even if your brain tries to forget. And if you don't believe me, tell me if you have any of these signs, right? You go emotionally numb or you dissociate during intimacy. You feel shame or guilt or sadness after sex, even when it was consensual. You crave physical closeness, but you panic when it actually happens. You perform rather than participating. You find yourself using sex to feel wanted, but still you never really feel safe. Sometimes you might even avoid sex altogether, even with someone you love. And here's another layer that's rarely talked about. Sometimes sex becomes your coping mechanism, not your joy or connection, your escape. You might be over-sexualizing yourself to avoid vulnerability, because if you lead with sex, maybe they won't notice the brokenness that you have inside. Withholding sex to regain control, because sometimes your body has been taken for granted before, so now you're afraid of being used again. So sometimes you even start associating sex with worth, believing that if they want your body, maybe you are lovable. It's consensual, yes, but it's not connected, and it's not safe, it's not sacred, it's survival. And here's the quiet tragedy. You start to confuse sex with validation. And the more disconnected you became, the harder it gets to tell the difference between what you want and what you're afraid to say no to. This trauma doesn't always come from one big moment. Sometimes it's the accumulation of little betrayals, of giving too much, too often, for too little in return. Now, I want to talk about why sex can feel unsafe even when you're in a relationship, because I know what you're thinking. You've done the work, you've let someone in. Maybe you're in a relationship now with someone who's actually patient, kind, and emotionally present. They're not even rushing you or pushing your boundaries, but for some reason, still, you find yourself tensing up. You disconnect. You feel the urge to shut down or disappear the moment intimacy enters the room. Here's why. Your body doesn't respond to logic. It responds to memory. And when sex has been your coping mechanism, your battleground, your bargaining chip, or your survival strategy, even safety can feel threatening. Even when it's good, your nervous system doesn't trust it because the body remembers being used. The body remembers being pressured. The body remembers being silent when it wanted to say no. And now, even love that's soft, even touch this tender, even desire this mutual can feel overwhelming because your body is still waiting for the pain. And for those who use sex as a mask to feel desired or to avoid abandonment or to feel in control, being with someone who actually sees you can be terrifying because now you're not being validated for your body. You're being actually asked to show up with your heart, even if that heart still holds shame, fear, and grief. Then sex isn't just physical, it's exposure. And exposure for someone who's used sex to hide can feel unbearable. This is what trauma does. It teaches your body that connection equals risk, that pleasure comes with a price, that giving yourself fully always leads to being left empty. Even when none of that is true anymore, but your body still behaves like it is. And until that trauma is acknowledged, felt, and healed, not pushed down or prayed away, you're going to keep mistaking fear for your gut. You're going to keep confusing vulnerability with danger, and you'll keep sabotaging the very love that's finally trying to be safe. Hey, friend. If you're tired of those generic, impersonal greeting cards, I've got you covered. Sincerely Shalia is my very own greeting card line, written and designed by me to help you say what's really on your heart. Whether it's love, apologies, or just because, these cards speak for you. Skip the cookie cutter messages and send something real. Check out my collection at shaliavinny.com/greeting cards and find your perfect card today. So we've been discussing the hows and whys behind post-traumatic sex disorder, but healing doesn't mean rushing back into sex. It means rebuilding a relationship with your body that centers safety, softness, and consent with yourself first. Here's how I want you to start doing that. Number one, I want you to validate what happened to you, even if it wasn't quote unquote that bad. Just because it wasn't violent doesn't mean it wasn't traumatic. So give yourself permission to grieve what your body went through, even if others have minimized it. Number two, I want you to learn to feel without judgment. When discomfort, numbness, or panic arises, don't suppress it. Name it. Get curious. Your body isn't betraying you, it's protecting you. Number three, I want you to reclaim safe sensation without pressure. Healing doesn't start in the bedroom. It starts in the bathroom, the mirror, the silence. Let touch become safe again through things like warm baths or self-massage, even resting your hand on your heart. Teach your body that you are mine and we're safe now. And number four, I want you to communicate with safe partners. If you're partnered and in a relationship, let them in on your healing. A partner who's for you will slow down, not pull away. True intimacy is built on presence, not performance. And last but not least, number five, I want you to redefine intimacy on your terms. Intimacy is not just sex. It's laughter, eye contact, sitting in silence without fear. Don't rush to get back to normal. Focus on what makes you feel connected, not what you feel obligated to do. Let me just leave you with this. You are not broken. You're not frigid. You're not dramatic or overreacting. You are remembering. Your body is remembering the moments it didn't feel safe, the times it was silenced, rushed, shamed, or ignored. And that remembrance is not a flaw, it's an invitation for you to come home to yourself, to learn how to feel again, to learn how to stay in your body without fear. Because healing is not about forgetting what happened, it's about no longer letting it control how you experience love. You don't have to perform intimacy to be worthy of it. You don't have to offer your body to be accepted. You don't have to trade connection for survival. There is a version of you who is calm and open and powerful, who gets to experience love without fear. And that version of you isn't lost. That version is just waiting for you to stop pretending that you're fine and for you to name what hurt, waiting for you to finally believe that you are worthy of a love that doesn't hurt, hide, or hollow you out. And when you get there, when you reclaim safety in your own skin, sex won't feel like a test or a transaction or a trigger. It will feel like truth, like tenderness, and like home. And oh my goodness, that's where I'm hoping and praying for you to get to. Now, if you need more help, you can always go to shaliavinny.com. You can book a one-on-one session with me. I love you so much, and I'm rooting for you always. See you on the next episode, okay? Today's show is brought to you by Sincerely Shalia, my greeting card line. Please rate the show on your favorite streaming platform, share it with one person who you think needs to hear it, and ask them to do the same. Remember, good, better, best. Don't you ever let it rest. To your good is better, and your better is best. Until next time, your friend and motivator and relationship strategist, Dr. Shalia. Bye.